Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Legend of Korra Book 4 Balance episode commentary. This one's going to be for K404, The Calling, episode 4 of Book 4 Balance. To sync up your copy of the episode with this commentary track, what you need to do is have the episode ready to start, including the intro of every episode of Korra. The Kyoshi appears up on screen first, and then you get the Earth, Fire, Air, Water bits. So have that ready to start. I'm going to stop speaking in a moment, and then when I come back after that pause, you hit play, I'll hit play, and we'll both be synced up. So I'm going to stop speaking now. When I start speaking again after the pause, hit play. Okay, so here we are with K404, The Calling. And in terms of the earlier episodes of this book, I feel this is probably one of the better ones. I feel the Toph Korra stuff really gets going here. You have a significant stage in Korra's recovery, but not quite there. And just overall, getting to see a little bit more of the Air Kids as well, like doing a mission on their own, is such an enjoyable experience, because in many ways this is kind of like the Iki episode of the entire series. There's like this, and I think one of the Civil War episodes from book 2 focuses kind of a bit on her, but this is probably one of her strongest moments as a character, Iki. So that's cool. Definitely one of the bits that by the end of the book you almost forget that this actually happened, because the Air Kids didn't really do a lot the rest of the book, especially Jinora. But getting to see them actually in action here is really good. You see, their parents are a bit worried, but Jinora is a master airbender, so there's a level of confidence with the three of them. Yeah, Milo kind of goes through this thing of, he wants to do everything on their own, live off the land for some reason, despite the fact that they don't eat meat, so they can't really hunt, so they're kind of reliant on fruits, but except, he's willing to take the buns that Pema makes. Awesome advice, sometimes things get smudged. And this is Janora's bison Pepper, obviously as noted by the kind of pepper-like kind of spots on the nose. So that's interesting, just that she does have her own bison. Just that's the kind of one big thing they give her in this kind of book to show that she's a master airbender. Yeah, it's a big moment for the two of them, just like seeing their kids go off on their first mission together, and it's a big one, find Korra, like where is she? So I think it means a lot to them that their parents would put them on this mission, so that's cool. And the investigation begins. And you kind of see the kind of problems. This is their first mission, they don't really know what to do. Just some of the disagreements that they have. Like, Jinora is kind of the leader, but is kind of like primarily focusing on stuff that she's doing. She hasn't told Iki or Milo to do anything specific, so that's interesting. And then that means the other two get a bit jealous and start to do stuff on their own. They're kind of all going in their separate directions. It's just interesting to see them now that they are that little bit older. Iki especially is probably he's kind of the most notable, that she's kind of gone from just being a little girl to being the kind of young teenager. So yeah, they go off on their own, leaving Jinora to do her kind of spirit finding technique. Milo is dangerous, totally. At least he has Pokey with him, which is nice continuity. I'll just get a little montage of the search for their Korra early on. We still have one of those. Oh, this is so cute. Just Milo and the latest, the youngest ship in the entire show. Works really well. I've seen some things, really. No, he hasn't so far. Cool. Really trying on the moves. And, and Iki making fun of it from the rooftops. But he gets a flower. I kind of. It's just such a cute little ship, you know. It probably doesn't mean anything and won't go anywhere. But it'd be fun if they ever like met again and like some of the, if we ever get core comics or anything like that. But I like how like he inadvertently stumbles across the picture from a previous episode. It's great continuity, and then they also see the Aang picture. I just like completely forgotten just how much focus they get in this episode. You need to start pulling your weight. No. Says everything about Milo just there. And then we get the first Korra top scene. Toph has just kind of given up on Korra until she makes some progress on her own here. After all, Korra kind of wouldn't let Toph take the metal out of her because it hurt and stuff like that. And I do love these scenes that she just sits down and starts asking her the questions about like all of these adventures, the original Team Avatar, and then to Toph, these are nothing because she doesn't really place much emphasis on these saving the world moments because she's in this situation right now where, as far as she's concerned, there's no real point in even trying to save the world because something's just going to happen again, and then you have to do that again, and something else will happen, and so she just doesn't see these moments as that important like other people do. And I like how she sends her off to get mushrooms, but sends her on this very specific path that she knows is basically going to promote some sort of a swamp vision. That she kind of wants to help Korra, but not directly help her. Like, it is an interesting approach that she doesn't want to just be that classic older character who helps the younger character. And yeah, Milo with an idiotic move there, just throwing out the food because he wants to hunt, even though they don't eat meat. And here's the big kind of breakup between the three of them for now. Iki is basically forced to go off on her own. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one, just that Janor got so much focus last book, and then she doesn't get really anything of note to do this book. She has the moment with Opal where she and Opal help save Korra from Kuvira at the end of the first fight, but that's about it. And for a character who is so big in terms of like what she did last book and even in book 2, that it's kind of difficult to see her kind of just demoted once again to kind of almost book 1 status, where she only gets 1 or 2 big moments. Iki trying to make amends by giving this little animal its food back, but ends up getting captured. Captured by our guard friends here, who are unnamed, but I'm just going to call them Mario and Luigi for the sake of easiness and doing this commentary. And it's such a fun dynamic just seeing Iki, like, she's captured. First solo mission, she's just been captured by the enemy. And she's a bit afraid early on, but she just very quickly just, like, takes control of the situation. Just her personality, she's not at all, like, afraid, like, talking to these people in this situation. She's just acts very nice and just open and stuff like that, and gets them on her side and gets them basically working for her. It's a really interesting dynamic and just shows the kind of special skill that Iki has, and that's just like communicating with people and her personality coming across. And they're all planned like, oh, we're going to get a promotion here. We're not going to be left out anymore because we're going to catch all these airbenders. And they try and like get all the extra information out of her, and she knows what they're doing, but doesn't really go like, no, I know what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you. She just kind of avoids it and moves on, starts asking them questions, and gets them working for her. She gets them feeding her. It's really interesting. They found her food and the note. But at the same time, like, while these scenes are all fun and all, it's kind of like, because the Air Kids are so small as characters in the grand scheme of this entire season, and because an episode ends up being missing because of remembrances, that's going to be a fun commentary when I get to that one. I just kind of go like, this time could have been spent developing Kuvira's like past a bit more, explaining how she became what she did, expanding on that relationship between her and Batar. But still, they're fun scenes. I'm glad the Air Kids did get like a kind of final episode to really kind of do some stuff in the series. And Korra gets some of her visions. First, she sees Amon hurting her. Then, of course, Unalaq and Vatu hurting her. Then the big one, obviously, Zahir and the Red Lotus hurting her. That she's basically carrying around with her the kind of just the memories of these fights that are in the past. Like the earliest one was like 3 years ago, and like up to like 4 years ago, really. She's had these fights, but she's still affected by them, even though she won all of them. She's physically better, more or less, after all of them. And that's ultimately how she has to recover, but she's so set on thinking about them that she, can't quite get past them. And yeah, Milo and Pokey with the poison berries, getting sick. That face. They're so delicious. Oh no. And Iki is missing. And yeah, it's just kind of like, because Janora's not in the episode that much, it's just kind of like, what does she do in the episode? She also, obviously her powers help find Korra in the end, but like before that, you just see her meditating and saying a couple of things. And yeah, they start kind of getting advice from Iki. Basically, they start talking about their frustrations to her. They can bond over the fact that they've been left out by their kind of higher ups, commanding officers, siblings. They won't even let me help. And then they try to help her out, like all these, bring up the map, like, we have people all over the place. We haven't heard anything so far, so they can't be here, here, and here. And then it also obviously leads to, we don't have anyone patrolling the swamp, but that's obviously where she is, because it's a very spiritual place. It would make sense that Korra goes there. Iki makes one of the biggest steps forward in this mission. And by the end of the kind of episode, they've all done something important. Milo gave them their first lead. Iki gave them like the kind of basic location of where they are, and then Janora found Korra at the very end. Big help. And yeah, they were helping Iki, and he just wrecks them. Iki just had the situation under control. She didn't even need to be let out of her ropes. And she got the food back. But she leaves them a present, because they knocked them out. Mario and Luigi, guys. There they are. And I like the way the animal kind of follows Iki out, that they are friends. The animal was in the room the whole time. And Toph comes to check out Korra because she knows that something was going to happen. Visions of all the times my enemies hurt me, so there you have it. Frog. The swamp is basically giving her an idea of what she what the problem is. That these memories are what's causing the problems. And this is the one big bit of advice that Toph actually helps Korra with here. And just that connection of like the memories are kind of linked to the poison. That since she can't let go of the enemy, she can't let go of the poison. It's interesting. And then this is wonderful. This is really good here. That Toph points out to Korra something that she didn't really know about all of her enemies. I think she more or less knew it about Unalaq because she kept the portals open and stuff like that. She learned directly what Unalaq's good point was. But with Amon and the Red Lotus, in those seasons, we never really got her thoughts on the ideals of the enemies. She was just opposed to them. And then you get that she's learning from them here, and ultimately learning from the past enemies helps her to realize that she can learn from Kuvira to understand her. It's a really interesting dynamic in this season, that this final season is the one where she reflects on everything that's come before and gains understanding from it. And then, like, it's interesting here that like they just kind of dismiss Iki's ideas almost straight away, but then they get sucked into the swamp basically. Because the swamp knows that this is the moment when everyone needs to come back together. The swamp is alive. It's just so great getting to see the swamp again and seeing it do all the things that we know, we primarily know it for. And these last couple of minutes of this episode are really strong. As everyone comes back together, as Korra's making her big progress. Iki knows that the swamp wants them here. I kind of wish Shinora was just going like, okay, this happened. We're meant to be here. Like I heard from Katara or something like that. That they went to this swamp one time and it basically helped them learn something or something like that. But no, Iki's the one to say it, and it works because it's primarily Iki's episode, so that side of things. But yes, the Banyan Grove tree in the swamp, wonderful visuals going on here. And just really shows the spiritual side of Toph now, that she's come to live here and really understands a lot of this. She's disconnected from the world when, even this banyan tree is connected to the whole swamp. She needs to regain that connection. And she learns this kind of technique right here by connecting to everywhere in the swamp. It's such a great reference to the episode, The Swamp, and how just Korra making this big connection, like really truly wanting to return back to this world that she's kind of been away from for so long, and then she makes the connection with Jinora and they beeline to each other, and she's so happy to see them again, even just in a vision, when before she'd kind of been like almost afraid to reunite with all those people. So that's a big step in progress, that she's so emotional about seeing these people again. She's to the point where she's crying there that she's reunited again. And just, you really see the connection between the two, that they treat her like a big sister, she treats them like her kind of younger brothers and sisters. It's a really big moment. And then just Toph in the background, like, I've been missing for a while. I should be the focus here. Love the reference to that there. It's so you. There we go. I just love these moments where they're just talking about a hanging guitar and stuff like that. She likes Milo because he just says it as it is. And here's where Korra finally finds out about this season's villain. And she's very unconfident about what's happened and just unsure about her situation. And this leads her to finally make the decision. She's going to take out the poison now. She's got to return now. And Toph knows it has to be her. And I kind of wonder, like, is this the reason that they had Korra learn metal bending in the first place? Like, was it just that naturally she went to the metal clan, she learned metal bending? Or was it that, oh wait, while we're here, we'll have Korra learn metal bending, so she could take out the metal poison we're going to have be a plot point with her later on. So, it'd be interesting to get that. And it's just a really nice scene, just as you kind of see all these flashbacks. She has the visions again, but she kind of struggles but fights through it, leave those in the past and stuff like that. It's just like, all that's happening is just Korra's doing these movements to get poison you can't see out of her own body, and just, visually, like, not a lot is going on screen, but because of the music, because of what getting this poison out means, it's huge. So that's really good to see. And yeah, Toph just takes it, contains it, and just like, nope, no one's getting this again. And yeah, the return. This is a weird moment. I will say that her eyes glow again. Avatar state is back, but not Rava. They specifically make a point later on when she meets Zahir to say that Rava is not yet back in Korra, but she can use the Avatar state. But we know that the Avatar state is effectively the point at which human and spirit become one. So when she uses the Avatar state in, like, not the next episode and one after that, I think, how does she use it when Rava's not quite back? How is Rava there but not quite there? It's the one confusing part in Korra's whole journey of recovery, in that the technicalities of what's actually going on weren't quite explored or explained in the series quite correctly. It works, and I don't have massive problems with it, but it's just a weird one for me when, Beginnings did such a good job at explaining the origin of the Avatar and what the Avatar powers actually are, that you have Korra's recovery in stages, and you have her get the Avatar state back first, and then Rava and stuff like that. But still, great episode. Just the last time for the Air Kids to get any sort of character focus, a big step in Korra's journey, and some interesting Toph scenes. So, very enjoyable episode. But yeah, I'll have the episode 5 of Book 4 commentary, Enemy at the Gates, I believe the episode's called, out sometime later in the week. I'm going to have my next top 10 Avatar video out tomorrow, so probably Thursday or Friday for the next commentary. So thanks for listening, and bye.